Hello friends, this is Ganesh and video number 2 on Fiori. So in this video I'm going to explain some basic technical understanding about a Fiori application. I started with standard in the last session. So I furthermore travel with standard applications, then definitely will come to know how to connect our CDS and OData, our own development to a Fiori applications. Okay. In this video, I'm going to show you the place. It's like Fiori Library where we can find almost all the details about the standard Fiori applications, how the SAP designed or provided the Fiori application, which is the alternative for your SAP GUI transactions. So we are going to see the library first, and then we're going to get some little technical information about the system. So what are the components is required to run your application or the component smoothly? So those also we're going to see, and then few difference between SAP GUI and Web GUI, and then how the SAP is managed the SAP GUI transaction into Fiori applications. What are the possibilities are there, and what is the place or which scenario we need to go with the custom Fiori applications. So that is the overall idea about this particular session. We'll get into it. The first thing is places to explore. I can say it's more than a programming. Once you start work with the OData service, you might felt so this is more than a programming because we have to design most about in OData servers to how to get the data, how to communicate with the UI application with the different type of different format of data, header, item, dependencies. So many options are available. So at the end, we are going to write the same kind of above programming, but we are going to concentrate more on design in the OData level. The same thing in Fiori as well. So Fiori, you have to understand the applications, components, and technical details of the standard one, and how to design your own Fiori, where to start. So everything we have to understand in the Fiori applications. At the end of the day, you're going to write the same coding, so you don't worry about the code. My humble request or my experience, once you want to learn anything, don't take very bigger scenario in the beginning stage itself to put it into a Fiori or OData service. So if you want to learn OData service, take very simple one simple custom table, update it. The same way you have to do the Fiori also. Don't take create a sales order. I'm going to create one big end-to-end sales order or end-to-end business scenario for my practice. It will take time, and if you break somewhere and if you spend more time on the coding also, very difficult to spend time in the applications. Okay, so that is the one, and this is the place where we are going to find everything about the application. If the business wants to know, or business wants an application, Fiori application, to run a business, run a transaction, so immediately go to this particular place called SAP Fiori Library and try to find out what SAP provides. Is SAP provide anything, any standard application for my business scenario, or partially I can find something and I can able to modify. So everything you're able to find in the one place called Fiori Library. So how we have a BAPI transaction to see all the relevant BAPI based on the industries, based on the business modules. The same way SAP Fiori apps also is available. And so this is a link, or you just type in a Google, it will immediately come. And another one is called components. So the frequent term we are going to use in Fiori, finding Fiori application is components, because the components are very important over here. We need to understand what is the component behind every application, and whether the component is available in my system. It's like in a client system to adapt this as a Fiori application to my business. Okay, so that is very important. So the components are categorized into front end, there is one component, and back end. So means more than one component is so possible. Back end means it's above component, and the software component version. This is a very basic one. So what is your software component versions of your system? Simply, what is your NetViewer's version? That is a very basic one, right? So we need to understand those informations. And then initial checks, what you have to do was, first step is what is your NetViewer version. To find a NetViewer version, probably you might aware of it. SAP basis is a component. Just check what is the version of your SAP basis component. You come to know what is the version of your NetViewer. because mostly there are the components or differ between the your NetViewer version. So for example, 7.4 less than 7.4, the gateway component is actually the three components to be involved in your system to start begin with the Fiori application, and after 7.4 they made it into one. So SAP underscore GWFND. So if this component is available, so you're good to go with most of the Fiori applications. Okay. So just understand and try to get what are the components or what are the versions of your system which you are working, whatever system you are. And the other one is, so configurations, we need few informations like SAP UI5 application also, we need to know about the components. At least we need to communicate, whether you're working or not, that's a different story. So we need to communicate about SAP UI5 application. So overall, everything is standard I'm talking about, okay? So forget about custom for the time being. And the OData servers. So because OData service is the middleware where that needs to be get the information from the backend system or communicate with the backend. So we need to know what is the OData as behind this particular Fiori application, and what is the role for the authorization role. So mostly this type things we are going to use application which is ready to use. Okay, I can say lighthouse applications. So those are ready to use and is good for benefit for the business. Okay, so those informations we need all UFI, OData service, and authorization rule as well. But currently we are in a stage where we are finding an application for a standard transaction GUI. So that level we are on. Okay. So these are just remember will take you once you start working with the lighthouse applications. So lighthouse applications. Okay. Just a name. So technical details, we need to know what is a catalog, technical catalog, or we can say business catalog, and what is the target mapping, what is the semantic object and action. So this I showed last session itself, how to find the semantic object or action for any particular tile or an application. So the basic understanding is, if you take GUI, so this is maybe I just pass about Fiori, just an understanding. So you know about GUI, SAP GUI, graphical user interface. So it's like everything is work inside a SAP environment. So you have a lot of transaction, and the data communication is very easy and faster. So if you create a purchase order, once you logged in, you have a, based on your authorization and role, you have almost the access for most of the transactions. You can create it, whatever you want, you can create it. Automatically it will go and update in the backend system. So how it's getting updated? Through a standard program. And it's a heavy application in the sense, because once Fiori came into picture, we had to find a differentiation. So in that part, I can say it's a heavy application, because if you want to create a sales order or a purchase order, it will have most of the options available. Okay, so even though it's not required for the user, I want to see very few information about sales order information, but anyway you have to go with the VA03 or ME23N and just load the entire application, entire transaction, and see whatever data you want. Okay, so in that aspect I'm saying it's heavy application. And SAP decided to have this GUI in a web. Okay, it's like a browser. Okay, so you might aware of its WebDynpro. So most of the sorry, not most of the WebDynpro is working on the browser. So we call it as web GUI. Okay, so I'm talking about GUI and web GUI. Forget about Fiori time being. Okay, so they decided, okay, just make this GUI as a web GUI. So how we can do what? So it's going to work outside of your SAP, meaning you don't want to log on pad, you don't want to enter into a SAP and working on it. It should work on a browser. Okay, so there are different medium to connect with the backend data. It's not directly coming to your part, so because it's there is a network, and there is some link to be communicate and get the information, and send the information to the backend system. So there are some layers it's available between your the browser web GUI and your backend system. And it needs formats to keep the data safe and simpler, because it's again it's working on the internet, so it needs to be keep the data very safe, and the data need to be formatted with XML to read the information. So there are some formats also involved. So if you compare to SAP GUI, these are additional steps involved if you make the particular transaction as a web GUI. Okay, and the data communication is must be simpler and faster. Like you can't try to design the same like ME21N in a web GUI, because it's heavy. So loading itself is very heavy, so it's working on the browser level. So that's why the most of the design is very simple and it's be very faster. So data communication, just send only whatever is required, don't dump everything into one screen. Okay, whatever is user required, just send those information. That will be very easy and faster as well. And because of that, it's actually a light application. So mostly if anything is working on the browser, it should be light application. Okay, so this is a basic difference between GUI and Web GUI. Now coming to, so in Fiori application, the basic idea is, so whatever transaction is available in SAP GUI and whatever transaction the business is using, so SAP try to provide an application for, I can say alternative for creating a purchase order, create a sales order, create a customer information or timesheet approval, whatever it is. So they're trying to provide an application for each transaction. Okay, in very simple term, they're trying to provide an application to just have a communication with the SAP. Simple. Okay, it may be a one-to-one, like I have a ME21 and I want to provide exactly same as ME21, or just create a new application. It make very easier for the user as well. Okay, so these are the ideas of SAP. So if the question comes whether SAP provide applications all the for all the SAP GUI transaction, the answer is no. Okay, they're just trying keep on, and they might be, it's a one to one or one to n or n to one also. So this cardinality I'll just explain in the next videos, sorry, next slide. Okay, so that is the idea. They're just trying to provide most of the application where business used to communicate with the backend system. Simple. Now suppose I have a SAP transaction. Okay, it has a lot of functionality. Maybe you take one transaction, it has a lot of functionality. So SAP decide, okay, try to replicate the same as a Fiori application, or they can divide it into three different applications for one SAP transaction. This is just in comparison. Okay, so it may be have three different Fiori applications. Each covers one business transaction of SAP GUI. They may divide it into, because of the need where the business looking for the data, they split the data, they make it very simple. So there are many reasons. Okay, they divided into three or four Fiori applications for one SAP transactions, GUI transaction. And another feasibility or another options are, you might have two different transactions. Okay, and they converted it into one Fiori application. So everything is depends how it's feasible, and how it's be faster and how it's very easy for the business or business users to use the application. So but depends on that, they may have this option. So why I'm saying this is, once you're going to find a Fiori application, keep this in mind. So don't exactly find out I want VA02 exactly how it's in GUI. Forget about it. So once you come to Fiori, I need an application which supports me to create a sales order. Simple. Dot. Okay. So you never compare I want exactly same. Even if you try to convince or you try to pass some information to the user also, you have to explain it. So don't explain this is a alternative of VA02. No, this is the application which helps you to create a sales order. Okay, so it may be it may have sorry, it may not have all the functionality whatever you're saying in VA02, maybe in the same application, which is not required also for your user role. This part is not required, so it's not available in the application. If it is required, we can have one more application that may be a continuation of the first one. Okay, so in that way you just explain, and the same way you have to understand also. Okay, so please don't try to find the exact GUI transaction in the Fiori application. Got it? So that's why I'm saying one to one, so or n to one, so that also possible. And another scenario could be, okay, the Fiori application is fine. Maybe two transactions is combined into two business transactions or two business scenarios is combined into one Fiori application or multiple Fiori application. Client is not satisfied. This is standard, fully standard. Client is not satisfied. Okay, client might record, I need addition of this, or better I go with a new application. It'll be very easy for me. So in that case, your Fiori custom application comes into the picture. So this, it may be a creation of or enhancements of the existing one, or it might be start from scratch. Okay, so here the custom application comes in the picture. Got it? And finally, excuse me, gather everything and keep it in one, I can say one group, depends on the user. Okay, so user wants some standard, or they maybe want only one application, and out of three it want only one application for sales creation. It needs some custom application. Just design everything and keep it ready for the user in the user specific role. Okay, so this is very basic understanding of what is Fiori application. So how we are going to approach in future the Fiori applications. Okay, and stop comparing between GUI and Fiori applications for easy understanding. This from my side. Okay, hope it's good. Let's see few things. So first go with SAP Fiori Library. So if you just type SAP Fiori Library, you'll get Fiori reference apps reference library. Just get into that and just explain everything. It'll load little late. It's fine. So here you will find the apps informations, and depends on the versions, which versions you want apps. So if you say all apps, or all apps for S4 HANA, or you want Fiori, SAP Fiori apps for S4 HANA and everything. So if you go with all apps, it will show you how many apps actually currently available. So you have 12,000 apps, and it was saying Lighthouse applications, and you have a lot of applications available. Excuse me, let's keep on loading. Okay, it will take time, so let me search my thing little narrow. I'll go with, I want SAP Fiori application for S4 HANA, and here I'll go with, it's like by industry or all apps, whatever you want. Like I can say I'll go with aerospace and define. This much applications are available, standard applications are available, and I'll go here, and any time you can start searching it. So by industry you can search, or by, I want to search all application, I want to, based on the scenarios I want to search every page, you will find the search. So anytime you can start searching on it. So if I go with purchase, it will try to get most of the relevant information for my search. So manage purchase requisition, purchase order, and everything. So I'm going to choose this because the last session I showed you purchase order create just like that. And here we are going to see the component details and get the information, and we're going to add this in my one of the in the same group. Okay. So I'm going to select this manage purchase order version. It shows few information. There are two things: product features and implementation information. This is for us, most of the technical items are coming under here. Just product feature, what is available. So they mention very clearly, and here you have an option whether you want for HANA or HANA Cloud. It may be a different versions or different technical component details. So you have to select it. Now I have an on-premises only, so I go with S4 HANA. And here you mentioned about this product. What is this product? So this app is, you can create, manage, and search purchase order to ensure that get the order items on time. So this is about the particular application. So you know about the purchase order, create, change, and all the information over here. So what are the options available over here? So everything they mentioned very clearly. Okay. It's like a documentation. If you take any SE 37, so you can see the documentations over here. The same thing you are able to see over here as well. Okay, so these are some approval process. So they given some kind of screenshots how it looks like, look wise how it does. So everything you're able to see. This is for better understanding whether this will give proper information, or this will okay for your business requirement. Okay. So this is about it, and you have two options like detail and list view. So let's see that as well. So now go back, just play around it, okay, and go back to the implementation information. So here also you have an option of selecting the versions over here. Just come down SAP S4 2020. So I just go with, I have 1909. So I just go with S4 HANA 1909 version. Depends on the version, there are slight difference. Okay, so that is a thing we have to select the version. and you have an important SAP Notes. So this might be required. Suppose in your system this particular node is not implemented, or if it is implemented, it is already there, okay, or it cannot be implemented. So you have to find out whether this node is required to include in your SAP system. This is the first step. So you have to check it out, and they'll give the information, release information as well. So this is actually available in initial shipment stack. So if it is not, maybe you have to install it. Mostly 80 to 90% those things are available, but still they're giving the proper detailed information over here. So what are the SAP nodes relevant for this application? And I'm searching for purchase order change, okay. And then installation part, this is the very basic important information we need about the component. What is the product version? So this was, I have selected it, and support package, it's available in the initial itself, and component version. So I need to check out whether this component is available in my system. If it is not available, then I'm not able to use this application, okay. And same way, this is for front end component, and this is for back end component. Front end components for Fiori, and the backend components for normally for ABAP. So for this S4 core, mostly it's available S4 core, because it's very basic application. So every system has the SAP core component, so don't worry about it. So this is the very basic thing. First you have to check, one time you have to check what is your NetWeaver version. After that you have to check the component for every application. And come down, then configuration. So they mention very clearly what are the technical names of your configuration in each area. For SAP UI5 application, what is the technical name you have to do it, because this is a standard one, right? So you have to do that. And what is the OData service is support for this particular application. So this is the OData service. If you want to go to SEGW, open, you have an option to open a project, right? Give this project name. Okay, actually this is a service name, not project name, this is a service name. And just search with that, and then you have backend authorization role also. This is backend authorization role for this particular application, and this is SAP Fiori Launchpad. And what is the catalog you have to give, and target mapping, if you're going to include in your group, your own group, what is the target mapping? It's like purchase order, semantic object is purchase order, manage, and everything. And you have business catalog. So you have business catalog like SAP PRC, purchaser, PO. So this is the things available for S4 HANA 1909. So if I change this to current one, and you might find little difference over here, or it has same. Okay, so somewhere I identified there are two business catalogs for this particular version. So let's see. No, okay, that's fine. Here I will make it to 1909. So that is my system version. So this is the catalog which I need to find out whether it's available over there or not, SAP PRC BC, or you can find out with catalog description, purchase order processing. Okay, and if you take extend app selection, okay, select this. What are the apps available? So this much apps available. You remember in a system, if in a catalog we select a catalog, it shows number is 40. So 20 for tiles, 20 for target mapping. So 20 tiles is available. The same thing, this much things is available under this particular business catalog. Okay, and this is the application ID, app ID. Okay, so I'm going to use this to just change the purchase order. So this might be helpful. Let's go to the list view as well. Spend more time on this library initially. So you should be very good hands-on over here. It shows everything. I don't want all apps. I want only current selection. So my current selection is only one. Yeah. So this is a manage purchase order version 2. Okay. And here it's coming under the category Lighthouse. It's easy to use, meaning once it is configured, it's ready to use for the business. So that is the meaning of Lighthouse. and just click it. You're able to download this option also. So if you want to see, you can just download and see all the information. You can compare as well. Okay, and yeah, this is the same thing. Then extensibility, I think mostly is not work for now. So it's for BSP containing application. So we'll see a little later. And what is the support for this? What is the application component? Most informations, but we need only very few. What is the technical name? What is the component? So that is enough for us to enable this application in our user group. And related applications, the same thing. Whatever related application you might maybe required for supplier attachment service and everything. If required, you can just go around with this. Okay. So it's same like we are finding a BAPI for a business scenario, we're finding an IDOC for a business scenario. The same thing we are going to do it in Fiori Library. Okay, so hope this might be very useful. Let's get into the system and see the version, component, and include the same purchase order tiles in my existing group. So this is my system. So here, okay, let me show you few information about the component. So let me check what is the NetViewer version. You have a transaction called Saint also. You are able to see, you're able to use to see the component names are available or not, or this is the very old format. So here I want to know what is my NetViewer version. So this is 7.5. Okay, so 7.4 you have different, 7.5 you have different, and this is the gateway foundation. This is very important for a Fiori application, very standard. These are one-time check you have to do it. So SAP GW and GWF ND is the one, and every application, um, yeah, every Fiori application you need to find the software component, right? So for the front end, they mentioned UIS for HOP1. So here you have, I saw somewhere UI is not there. Okay, and you are able to find it. Okay, UI S4, sorry, S4 HOP, right? One. Yeah, it is there. Just close it. So it's there for my front-end application, and what is for back-end application is S4 core. So it's available. It's very basic component. So it should be available S4 core. Find it. S4 core. No heads. Probably is. I need to start from the beginning. Yeah, here it is, S4 core. Okay, so my components are available for this application, so I'm able to use it. So this is the way you have to make confirmation. These components are available. If not, you have to ask your basis people or security people to upgrade this particular version, or you have to include it. Okay. The same way you have to find the note as well. SAP note also included or not, just identify that one. So probably I will show you very detailed about how to get that one in a different video. So we are good enough, and we'll go to the Fiori customized configuration page. So here this is my Fiori samples. Now I'm going to identify the particular business catalog over here. So business catalog description is purchasing. What is the name of it? Let's come down. Yeah, either I have to do this purchasing, purchase or processing, or you can even do the technical name as well, SAP PRC underscore BC. Let's try SAP PRC BC. So SAP underscore PRC underscore BC underscore PURCH purchase, right? Just enter. SAP PRC purchaser underscore PO, right? Over here, this is the one, SAP PRC BC underscore purchaser underscore PO. So it has 42. So actually it's 21. So that's what it shows here as well. Expand. So select it and click here, extend app selections. So these are available over there. So same thing, they maintain over there as well. So go to the system and select this. Oh, timeout. Okay, so it's coming now, and a lot of tiles applications available. So I want only this change purchase order. I believe from here it's very easy for you because I explained the existing last video. So just create reference. Step one, change purchase order, create reference. So I want to keep it my application. This is a little slow because of the remote system. So I want to keep it in Fiori. Enter catalog. I used everything whatever we created in the last video or last session. Select Fiori sample. So step one is done. You will get a confirmation over here. You say here reference of the tile is ready over here. And now I'm going to open my catalog, Fiori samples. So there are two tiles and the tile is added over here with the reference. Go here, change purchase order. Yes, reference is created and I have to do the target mapping. Just go to the target mapping. You can find out the same details over there, target mapping, or you can go to the tiles and click the tiles. Okay, over here, click the tiles and get what is the semantic object and what is the semantic action. Okay. Because every application they have a different action. Probably the semantic object is same but the action is different. So semantic object is purchase order and action is change. That's good. So now go to target mapping and create target mapping. So here semantic object is purchase order and the action is change. So title PO change, ID PO change, and save it. So it shows very clearly configure successfully changed. Okay, so the target mapping also two. So I have two tiles and two tiles and two target mapping. So totally it counts as four. We are good. And the last step is add this into a group. Go to groups tab and try to find Fiori group name. So this is the one Fiori group and add the tile. So this is the one as last video we added it. Create purchase order and I'm going to use Fiori samples from the different catalog. So here I'm going to use change purchase order. Go back. So it's added successfully. Change purchase order is added successfully. Now go to the Fiori Launchpad. So you know the transaction to open it, right? So I already opened it. So go there and get into the group. Fiori group is the name of it. Just come down. Here it is, Fiori group. Okay, I think I opened already. Let me refresh it. Then it will reflect with my next tile as well. Here it is. So create purchase order and change purchase order. So two tiles are available. So quickly I will open and do one transaction. Just open a new tab. So this is an application provided by SAP to create a purchase order. Okay, so better don't compare with ME29, but most of the functionalities are available over here. Okay, so let me go and get it by documents or view, because I'm not sure about the data in this system. So I'll go and get it from the existing purchase order, and purchase document is 133. Execute. Yeah, it's there. And drag and drop. Most of the functionalities are same. How we normally do in ME21N. The same thing how to do over here as well. It's a little tough in the remote system to drag and drop. Somehow I did it. Okay, I just selected it and just tried it. It's worked. So now I'm going to create a sales order. Just click save. I didn't do anything. Okay, just drag and drop with the help of the previous one. I'm just doing it in ME21N transaction, but here it's a different application. Change purchase order application. I'm doing a enter. So it's saying delivery date isn't passed. Okay, click save. Here you have a button called save. Okay. So you have a message. I'm not worried about it. Let's save it. I need to create a purchase order because I'm not sure about the data. So it's created 134. Now I have a tile for change purchase order. Just click or open a new tab. I'm going to change my purchase order which recently I created it. So there is an option called other purchase order, and it's 134. Just enter. I believe it's come with 120 or 140 is my PO quantity. I'll just go to change with some other value and save it. So that's all. And so this is a way which we are going to make use of the standard application. Okay. And let me go with 50 and save it. So here you can just control S, or you have a button over here for save. Yes, save it. So play around with Fiori Library and get most of the application. Try to use it and try to understand what is the business, and the business wants which application. Simple. Okay, you don't want to make yourself very complicated. Maybe initial stages I'm saying, okay, I have a custom transaction. How do I to convert into Fiori? So everything it's possible. There are some ways to achieve your business requirement. Okay, so initially make sure you are good enough understanding what is Fiori and how to find an application for your very basic business requirement. Okay, so hope this might be very useful for you. So just go through it, and if you have any doubt, please let me know. I'm happy to help you. Thank you so much for your time. See you in the next video.